But on the top of what we're doing now, and even with the tape being altered, I heard, and they're not going to be able to use it probably in court because it was altered before it was put out, that puts a spin on it. It doesn't put the spin on what he did. But the altered tape, that as opposed to sex trafficking and a RICO, and now it's in this mafia setting, it just doesn't, they don't go together. If he was charged for something else that maybe had fit what we saw, we all kind of would understand what's going on.
Now we get to day 10 of the Diddy trial. And now his former assistant, Capricorn Clark, has taken a stand. And she talked about a whole plethora of things that went on with her working for Diddy. She also worked for when she worked for Bad Boy, she worked for Death Row under Suge Knight. And she told her when she first started working for him, he took her out to the park and told her that, he might have to unalive her. This is what she's testifying to. He might have to unalive her if he finds out anything about her in regards to Death Row, right? So they already started off on a bad foot. She said that she's seen a lot of things. She talked about the Kid Cudi situation, and she was hired to be the go-between him and Kid Cudi to make sure that he wasn't doing nothing, to get Diddy locked up. She's, we all know she talked about him grabbing her against her will and taking her over to, Kid Cudi's spot. She witnessed Diddy with a firearm and his bodyguard, and they went into the home. And when they was inside the home, Kid Cudi pulled up, and they ultimately ended up chasing Kid Cudi. Well, all the lawyers and the reporters was inside the courtroom at the time when she was on a stand being questioned. They said that there was some questionable text messages that she sent Diddy because, that his team, his multi-million-dollar team, went on the defense, right? And they were pressing her about some text messages that she sent and was saying, well, how could these things that you're alleging about Diddy could be true when you were sending him these text messages after all these alleged things that you said that he done to you, right? So all this stuff was put on the table. But let's listen to a reporter that was inside the courtroom give us the play-by-play on what she saw. Check it out.
Testifying today in federal court is Capricorn Clark. She's a former assistant to Sean Combs, who said she served in various roles between 2004 and 2018. She was fired and rehired a couple of times. Prosecutors spent a significant time, though, speaking to her about what she experienced at the end of 2011 going into 2012. Now, Clark testified that she knew about the relationship between Kid Cudi and Ventura before Combs found out. But she said on December 22nd of 2011, at about 5 o'clock in the morning, Combs was banging on her door, and it sounded like, she said, metal to metal. When she opened the door, Combs had a gun in his hand, at which point she said that he wanted to go kill Kid Cudi and told Clark that she needed to get herself together and that they were going to go over to his home. She said, quote, "I had never seen anything like this, had never seen him with a weapon." Clark says that she was terrified and that they pulled up to Cudi's home, and she says, and this is new, that we hadn't heard this before, she said she watched Combs and one of his security guys go into Kid Cudi's home. Then she said Kid Cudi actually pulled up to the home and she saw Cudi in the car, and that Combs and the security guy, again, she's in the car, chased Cudi, but he got away. Then Clark testifies that she eventually links up with Cassie and Cudi at Cudi's home, and that she was trying to convince Cudi not to name Sean Combs in a police report which he filed about the break-in. There's a lot to this story. After leaving Cudi's home, Clark says that she and Cassie went to Combs' home, and that Combs started beating on Cassie by kicking her repeatedly. It was so bad that Clark says she called Regina Ventura, Cassie Ventura's mom, and said that, quote, "He's beating the SHIT out of your daughter. Please help her. I can't call the police, but you can." Now, Clark acknowledged on cross that she did meet with Combs' attorneys in April of 2024. This would have been around the time after Combs' homes were raided. The attorney said, quote, "You thought you could be helpful as chief of staff." And she said that was the discussion. And then the attorney said, "Do you recall that we told you that there was a criminal investigation and that it was impossible to be given a job like that after the raids with everything going on?" Clark said she did not remember. Then the defense asked her if she remembered sending a flattering text message to Combs back in 2021. She said she didn't remember. They showed her the text message. There was a little bit of discussion about whether that would be admitted into evidence, but eventually the jurors did see the message, and part of it read, "Did you ever know I had the biggest crush on you before I started working for you?" Again, the defense entering this as evidence that these comments were made by Clark in 2021 in a text message after everything that she had essentially been through, that she says she had been through regarding Sean Combs. She also said in this text message, "Sometimes I wonder," and I'm paraphrasing here, "if we missed out on some dope chemistry." She referenced the C or SJC, that would be Sean, Jeanette, and Clark. They used to call themselves that. Jeanette is a friend of Clark's, and they all used to hang out. In the text message, she also said, "We called you Chalk, short for chocolate. So nice, great memories. Time is wild." So the defense, again, trying to place doubt on her credibility and wondering why would you send these messages to Sean Combs after experiencing what she called being kidnapped back in 2011.
So with all the stuff that's being said about Diddy, Ray J went on to Piers Morgan. And Ray J knows stuff that we don't know because he's an industry insider. And he mentioned some stuff about he pissed somebody off at the top. And we all know what's really going on. They talked about the tape where Diddy's seen on video assaulting Cassie. He talked about that, but he said he should be charged for that. But the RICO, the trafficking, that stuff doesn't fit the crime, right? And he wants to know, he said, well, where are they going with this? What is all this? Right? We done seen 10 days of court. We done seen people get on the stand. And none of this stuff matches what he's allegedly supposed to be charged with. Right? We saw the video of assault. But all this other stuff, Ray J said it on Piers Morgan without saying it. He said that Diddy pissed somebody off at the top. And now and they're pissed off and they're doing what they need to do. And he said he basically went and threw his hands up and called it out and said, all right, enough is enough. We surrender. We retreat on behalf of Diddy. That's what he basically was saying while he was on Piers Morgan. Y'all don't believe me? Listen to this.
It feels like they're just trying to paint these pictures of Diddy. And I was around Diddy all the way pretty much up until the arrest. And all I got from that when I hung out with Diddy, and this is word to my mom and kids, he's always inspired me to be great. When I left, I felt like I could do more for my business. I felt like I had more power because I wanted to be more vocal in running my companies and call my wife if we were getting into it and send her flowers. I mean, these are all the things he was instilling to me and all of the young guys around that were inspired and you know, look at him as a mentor. So now these private things that happen when we were around and never even got a chance to see this kind of crazy stuff, it just sounds like this was a private, personal thing that was happening, and now it's starting to become it's diabolical. I mean, if that's the right word, it's chilling and it's scary for a lot of people out there in this business like us who are trying to walk the right path and connect with the right people when there's things that you do when you make bad mistakes. But this is like an overflow of just complete negativity.
So it sounds to me, unless I'm wrong, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you think that there's been a massive overreach here. This is personal behavior between Diddy and Cassie Ventura that we've seen so far, that it doesn't cross the line from where you sit into serious crime under the RICO law, which of course was, you know, intended for mafia members and so on. Do you think that's what we're witnessing here with this case? That this was consensual? It may be freaky, it may be sexually deviant, it may be all these things, but it was apparently consensual behavior and not a crime.
I agree, and there's things that you know we saw in these videos, they were disturbing, and that's not okay, right? But looking at the crimes that he's being charged for, this is where it starts to go overboard, and it's like whoever was mad at the top was really mad, and I think we're here now, and I think it's a flex, because like what are they trying to get out of this in this court case? Does everybody that's talking about these stories, do they want to see Puffy rot in jail? Is that what we're here for? Because I just think that that's unfair, and just knowing everybody, it just could have been done a different way. And now it's starting to worry me. And I honestly think that Diddy will get out. And I think that there's nothing here, right? I think they made their point, whatever they were trying to make. Your point is made. Now let Diddy out. Free Diddy.
Wow, you think he's going to walk?
I think so. And I personally think it's going to happen faster than a lot of people think, because I think we're all starting to see what this is. Even if you're on the other side of it, I mean, you know, the justice system is the justice system. Where does this fit in right as opposed to right and wrong? It's off. And I don't like it.
Here's my problem.
And I want to be vocal about it.
Right, so I've met Diddy a couple of times at social functions many years ago. And he was perfectly polite and nice to me, and we had a perfectly civilized conversation. One was an Oscars party, one was an event in London. I have to say, when I watched the video that was leaked of him attacking Cassie Ventura in that hotel corridor, I did think then, well, you're not the person I thought I knew from everything I'd read and heard. You're a very violent person, capable of beating up a woman. That is despicable. And if you're capable of that, and that's just what we saw on a CCTV bit of footage by chance, then what else are you capable of? What do you say to people like me who looked at that and go, well, this guy is a vicious, nasty piece of work?
Listen, I was very hurt when I saw the video. I mean, I couldn't believe it. I was very disappointed, and I still am. And my heart goes out to Cassie for me just watching that. Right? It's not okay, and there's nothing about that was okay. And I can't say but after that, because that's just what that is. And I feel the same way you feel. But on the top of what we're doing now, and even with the tape being altered, I heard, and they're not going to be able to use it probably in court because it was altered before it was put out, that puts a spin on it. It doesn't put the spin on what he did. But the altered tape, that as opposed to sex trafficking and a RICO, and now it's in this mafia setting, it just doesn't, they don't go together. If he was charged for something else that maybe had fit what we saw, we all kind of would understand what's going on. But the charges and what's being done, it's not.
So they bring another witness onto the stand. And again, this witness is talking about, sometimes I wondered that we missed out on some dope chemistry. She was saying a lot of innuendos, like she was coming, like her and Diddy could have been doing some things together. But then she's testifying and saying he did some real crazy stuff, right? But Kid Cudi was on the stand, and Kid Cudi never said that they chased him. She said that she was took against her will, took out in the car outside the house, and they actually chased him, you know, to do some bodily harm to him after they broke into his home. She said this, but Kid Cudi didn't say this. That's a problem. That's a problem. On the stand again, every time they get these witnesses to come on the stand and they get cross-examined, they getting smashed. So Ray J is saying, listen, man, I'm on the inside. I'm telling y'all what they doing to him. I'm telling y'all what's happening. And what they putting out right now in the media, it has nothing to do with whatever we think. It has everything to do with who was protecting him, who he was working with, and who he pissed off. That's and they have to talk that way. Now, we remember when Angie Stone came out and she started talking about, I'm going to start exposing stuff. I'm going at the industry, and she ended up underlined. She was going out of here, not even talked about no more. She's a memory, right? Unfortunately, right? And so many other artists that was willing to spill the beans or come out against this industry. So what he went to do, when he went to sue, was it Diageo or that largest liquor company, the second largest liquor company in the world, right? He went after them, and right after that, homes raided, doors kicked in, All kinds of accusations, the media destroying him. We seen what they did to Michael Jackson when they called him Wacko Jacko. We seen what they did to Prince when he changed his name to The Symbol, right? And started to separate from industry. And we know that none of them are here anymore. We know that already. So when I hear Ray J talking, I heard what he was saying beyond the words. I heard what he was saying without having to say it. He said it right there if you listen. Right? So to me, like I told y'all, Diddy is guilty of, we saw what he did to Cassie. And he may be guilty of abuse. But a lot of other stuff, that's coming from somewhere else, in my opinion. I strongly believe that. But you guys got to let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you think about what Ray J said. Let me know what you think about what Capricorn Clark said. Because remember, Kid Cudi never said that they chased him. But Capricorn Clark said that they did. But let me know what you guys think. Leave your comments in the comment section. Subscribe to Street Media TV. And remember, I love y'all. Till the next time, peace.